but I'm kind of intrigued to discover how much of an existentialist I am. I'm honestly not sure I knew that before now. But this whole business of taking seriously your freedom and your opportunity to make choices, and the fact that so many people live in bad faith, in Sartre's language, live in bad faith, live in thinking that they are defined by, say, their role as a waiter or as a lawyer. Whereas for Sartre and any existentialism, you really, I've really appreciated retirement for this reason, that I love waking up in the morning, having no idea what I'm going to do with my day, which is so different from the years and years and years when my life was measured out in minutes, defined in my very elaborate calendar. I can remember times, for a while I had a condo in Berkeley where the parking garage had elevators where in one space you could park 2 cars, because you could put one on the lower level or you could lower and put one on the upper level. And I lived a life, I had only a 10-minute commute to my office in Emeryville. But there were times when it made a difference to my day, whether my car was parked on the upper level or the lower level. An additional minute in my commute would make a difference. And that's not a good way to live. On a higher level, on a big level, GBN and the occupation of scenario planning was a choice. It was a big choice. But then once that choice was made, the consequences severely limited my freedom. So, that whole issue I find interestingly central to these volumes.
Okay, so on one hand, this is your life's work that you want to leave behind, and what is the thing that you most want to give somebody, like if you want to tell them about? So is it about their choice? Is that really the most fundamental thing?
Yeah, it really is. All my life, it's been a big part of my teaching to students. And now it's interesting to me that I have a 17-year-old grandson who just graduated from high school.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm so eager to see him choose his life. It's a great luxury in a way. 99% of human beings have been born into a life that is severely circumscribed by want, and to be able to wake up in the morning and choose what to do is a wonderful luxury.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's essential to human being.
That's quite interesting because actually, so I have a chapter for my dissertation about choice, because my inclination is that choice is a fundamental feature of the existence of the universe. Something about choice or choosing or agency, of being, the agency of being, is integral to reality itself.
Now, but now here's where I agree and disagree with you. As I hope becomes clear in volume 5, which is very much about emergence. I worry that a lot of so-called choices are not real choices. I mean, I'm not the first to come up with this idea at all. I mean, it's been central to especially work by Herbert Marcuse. You know, you go into an example, you go into the grocery store and see 25 brands of dog food. That looks like you have a whole lot of choices. But what is kind of ignored at that level of choice is the fact that you've given up the choice between feeding your dog with packaged food or somehow feeding your dog from nature. You've given up that choice. So there are a lot of false choices in our highly developed lives. And the other point I want to make that I hope will come out of volume 5 is that rather than imagining that everything in the universe makes choices, that is the school of panpsychism, psyche everywhere, right down to the dirt. The view that I espouse is one that features emergence, such that there were billions of years in which there were no choices in the universe. It was just physics and chemistry. And then life emerged. And once you have life, then you have choices. So part of what most intrigues me about the concept of emergence is that it kind of slices the universe in half, in the sense that everything below is dead and everything above is alive. So it is neither the case that the panpsychists are right, that everything's alive, nor is it the case that materialists are right, that everything is essentially dead. Instead, we have this slice below which everything is dead and above which everything is alive. That's part.
That's an interesting idea, Bo. So how do you tie in like Aristotle's potentiality? So if you have your pre-emergence reality, but it has the potential in it for emergence, so couldn't you say that reality fundamentally was always live?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I think the significance of looking hard at Aristotle and looking hard at Terry Deacon is Aristotle got it right about the concept of potentiality for living things. There really is a sense in which the acorn wants to become an oak. There really is that potentiality. But what Aristotle got wrong was that he thought that concept of potentiality went all the way down to prime matter. Whereas to Terry Deacon's view, in my view, that is panpsychism. And you want to acknowledge that dirt doesn't make choices. So, yeah, that's why I thought Richard Rorty's dissertation was so really interesting, because he wanted to see how far this concept of potentiality of Aristotle, how far it would go. And by the time you get up to Nelson Goodman, there is a clear distinction between where the concept applies and where it does not, because Nelson Goodman really kind of throws in his lot with the materialists.